Hi, I'm Aubrie, and welcome to the Join Us podcast where I talk all about my knitting. All right, first things first. Hi, welcome. First thing about me is I live in Washington, the PNW of America, and so lighting isn't the greatest because it's a cloudy, rainy day per Washington weather. I work as a CNA, certified nursing assistant at a hospital, and I am currently working on night shift. Yeah, full time. It's like 3 days a week. It can be a little tiring, to be honest, but I still love what I do, and I am hopefully pursuing nursing. I did apply to UW's nursing program a couple months ago, and I'm just waiting on my decision. I should get that in April, hopefully. And then I just need another outlet to talk about my knitting other than my boyfriend and my mom, honestly. And so I'm just gonna give this a try. We'll honestly see how this goes. Very low maintenance, I'm gonna warn you. I'm not a person that can knit quickly. Even though I want the garment to finish, like I want to be able to wear it, I still like the process. And I just don't have enough time for my time consuming hobbies. So along with knitting, which has been taking the most priority over all my free time, honestly. Oh, another thing about me, I'm also going to school right now, taking some community college classes, which that also eats up my free time. So yeah, if I'm not knitting, I'm doing schoolwork as every I'm not middle-aged, like 20-something-year-old person is doing at the moment. Well, not, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. A majority of us 20-something peoples are doing this or doing schoolwork. Ugh, all over the place. So I don't have a lot of finished garments, but I have a ton of whips. This is whip heavy, but I have 3 finished objects. So the one I'm wearing is the storm sweater by Petite knit. This, one second, let me find out what size I made. Okay, so I made size small on 4mm needles, and I got a little project notebook here for like my stats, so I'm just reading off of that. So I cast it on in September on the 21st, and then I finished this January 14th because I wanted to wear it when my boyfriend and I went back home to Florida for a couple of weeks. We're from Florida originally, and that's why I got like a slight southern accent. I mean, you just heard that. But anyways, more about the stats of my storm sweater. I do like it. It's in the Luxe Merino by Loops and Threads in the color Sedona. It's 55% superwash merino and 45% acrylic. I don't hate this. I like it. I'll say that I like it because when I finished it, it was fine. Like it kind of, the sleeves were a tad bit short. So I was like, oh, okay, it might grow slightly with blocking. This thing is gigantic. The sleeves, I didn't even take after block measurements. I was kind of pissed. But they're gigantic. I actually have them rolled up right now, and they still, I don't know if you can see this, but like they still come like bracelet length. But if I undo them, like, and stand straight, they're kind of like mid-hand, and so they're gigantic. And for today, we're just gonna roll them back up because I can't. They're like too long for my preference, kind of. All the finishings are just in a regular bind off. I did not have the patience to do a 2-layer bind off for this one. I just wanted it to be done because I was getting sick of the texture a little bit because it's a purl and knit texture. And so it's just, sometimes I don't like purling. I just want a straight knit. And I didn't have much just straight stockinette at the time. And so, yeah, And so if I wanted to go back and fix something, I want to fix the neckline. It's a bit big for my liking. I'd probably go in and take in less stitches or do the double folded knitting collar. I have extra yarn, but I'm not the type of person to go back into my finished knitting if there's not something drastically wrong with it. This is still wearable. I love it. So not really gonna go back into it. The pilling, not much, I will say. Maybe like tiny little fuzzies from after blocking I'll pick off, but yeah, not much pilling. And since this is so oversized, I haven't been wearing it much. And it's a thinner fabric because I knit it on 4mm needles, which is what the balls suggest. I think it's even 4.5mm, or I could be wrong. And so it's a looser fabric to my liking. So I didn't really wear it this much or that much this winter. So yeah. Next finished object is my home sweater V-neck by Caidree. Okay, so this is my home sweater V-neck. Don't even know if you can kind of see it. Yeah, I love it. It is in Borrego vintage. I think it's just the vintage one. I did not write this down. This is literally all I have for it. I just wrote down a finish date. Yeah. So it has the V-neck. It has a split hem here. So it has the split hem here, which I don't know how I feel about it. I've only worn this maybe twice so far. I wanted it for my birthday weekend, which was the February 23rd is my birthday. And so we wore this out. My family surprised me with Hamilton tickets here in Seattle. So we went there, Jacob and I. And I did take the time to do the 2-layer cast off here. It's not too bad, but about the yarn, backtracked. Borrego vintage and the pure white color, and then some mohair. I'll put a photo in here of what it actually is. And that was also in the white color, or white cream-ish. So this white yarn makes it, and then the cream mohair makes it more of an off-white one, which I really like. I'll also put a finished object photo of me in here, as always. And then I ran into I couldn't even tell you how many balls I used for this, maybe 5 or 6, because I was using this for the yarn for another cardigan I was going to make that kind of had a lace work, and it looked lovely. I was 75% done with it. I had the chest portion, I had both sleeves, which everyone who knows sleeves are crazy to knit, and that was lace, so I got that done, and I was working on the body. And I just kept putting it on. I'm like, this is just so heavy. And I'm knitting it with mohair, but it's lace. So when and where would I wear it? Now that I think about it, it probably could have been an adorable spring cardigan. But yeah, so I frogged it. That was an ordeal of its own because you had regular yarn mixed with mohair. I could have taken a photo or something, but there was yarn all over the place. Jacob was helping me split the mohair and the regular yarn. That was crazy. I will never ever want to frog a mohair garment again, really. At that point, I'll just bite the bullet and go get more mohair and restart. So I ran out of mohair literally at the end of the sleeve. I don't know if you can see the difference, but from here down, it's just the regular yarn. And when I'm wearing it, you can't even tell. I can tell because of course I'm wearing it, but the yarn alone is very nice. not too bad. Still, two-layer bind off looks amazing on this. A little bit about construction. So you start with a panel in the back. You do short rows on the shoulder, which I don't know if my short rows, if I need to just get better at those, or if it's the technique I used, but you can definitely see like the jump where it is, kind of. And it is a drop shoulder as well. Like this one's even, like you can see it on both sides. But yeah, and then you do chest shaping and the V-neck shaping, and then you knit in the round. Wait a second. Hold up. There's like color difference? Is there dye lot differences? Wait a second. Because I don't, wait, hold up. Is there, what? There's like a stripe of white. This was such a, there were so many ends to weave in, because when I was frogging, I was having to cut knots, retie them, and then keep winding up. So there's so, like, what? Oh my God, there's so, it's okay. It's okay. It's not that deep, honestly. I'm just freaking surprised. Anyways, that's my V-neck sweater. There is a dye lot difference. I'm not seeing with the light, like with the natural light outside, there is a dye lot difference in every skein. Oh my gosh, I should have known, because over from like from August or September was when I bought the yarn for the cardigan that I wanted to make. And then I bought like one skein first to try with the mohair I already had to see if it would work. It worked. And then I went and bought another skein. I only bought them one at a time. Wait, no, there was one time I bought it, like there was 2 extra. And then I went and had to buy more because I bought for the cardigan and then I needed the sweater. Okay, yeah, note to self, dye lots. I've more gotten in, like, as I've gotten deeper into the knitting world, I'm now understanding the, like, importance of the dye lots. Okay. I used a 5mm needle, by the way, knitted a size small. I didn't want too oversized, after learning about this one, but I didn't want it to be slim fitting either, so size small, and that, it works fine. I love it, absolutely love it. Okay, last finished object is a blanket. I'm not gonna unravel it because it's kind of huge. It's a gift for one of my friends who's getting married at the end of March. I have mixed feelings about this thing. So it was knit on like 9mm needles with Karen Cake spice cakes in the color like steel something, silver steel, I think. I had like 4 balls used, and this is a self-drafted blanket as well. So I did I-cord edging all around, so I did an I-cord cast on of like 150 stitches plus 3 on each side for the I-cord. Big mistake on 150 stitches, by the way, for lengthwise. I could have gotten away with doing 100, if 80 probably, just because of how big this was. I should have done the math. I literally made a gauge swatch, not even like 4 gauge, just to see how it would be in the wash. Literally, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. And so 150 stitches plus 3 I-cord stitches, and then I just knit. It took a while. I started this in December. And their wedding's at the end of March. So I knew I only had 3 months, if that, less than 3 months, honestly, because shipping it there or bringing it with me when I fly down there was gonna be it's a big project. It's a blanket, come on. And I wasn't doing like queen size blanket or anything. I just wanted a throw. So it's like 6 feet long lengthwise and then like maybe 3 feet tall widthwise. And I had enough. I had to go back and buy another ball of yarn because I bought 3. And I'm like, oh, I just need one more. Excuse me. I just need one more and it'll get to the length that I, am comfortable with. I probably could have gotten away with buying at least 2 more balls. So like a total of 6 on where it was something like I would be proud of gifting. I'm still proud I made this. I know, knitting, you're proud of anything because you're taking a ball of string and creating a garment or whatever, honestly. It could be magic, witchcraft. So yeah, when I finished it, I hated it. I did like I-cords on the edge and then an I-cord bind off as well, so I-cord all around. Yeah, I'm growing to love it. I promise I'm growing to love it. Okay, so I just counted how many whips I have, and I have 10. Okay, nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just I get to a point in my knitting, like I can monogamously, yeah, I think that's it, monogamously, yeah, work on a project and then I get bored of it and I'm like, okay, well let me just start something small. So there's a lot of smaller projects along with some garments as well. We'll start with this one. Okay, so this started maybe a month ago, because since I work night shift, I get off around like 7:30 in the morning if 7:45 if something takes longer, and so my hands are freezing in the winter. Like I think it got up to maybe like the coldest it was here was maybe 18 degrees, 19 Fahrenheit. And so I'm freezing my booty off, because Florida girl just moved up here like 8 months ago, and so not completely used to the winter. So I wanted like some pair of gloves. So I made these. These are a free pattern from Purl Soho. Again, not very prepared for the podcast, and we'll put stats in with editing. It's not finished. I don't even have a thumb on it. But yeah, I knit like the child size. I think these were on 2.75 circulars. Here you can see it a little better. I like it, it's nice. I just had to do the thumb, and I really don't like double pointed needles as well. So that's taken a minute. And so they are in this silk alpaca yarn. I think is also from Borrego. It's in like a very pale dove gray. It's lovely, I love it. And then I just have this one random ball of this more like beige mohair, because I got 5 skeins of the white mohair I used for the home sweater v-neck, and then I wanted to make it with like something else. I'm like, oh, this white yarn isn't working with this, it's totally drowning something out, so let me get a beige yarn because the base is more beige for whatever yarn it was, to try it out. And I never tried it out, I just went on with something else. And so these two are just sitting in my stash, and I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to make with these? And so I made these, or made this. Still working on it. It's nice. I haven't really worn it out because now we're going into spring, but I probably could use them because it's Washington. Spring isn't coming for probably another month. Like last March 2024, I visited Jacob up here because he was already living up here at the time, and it's my spring break. I come up here and there's snow on the ground. Imagine a Florida girl waking up on her spring break and she comes up here and there's snow. I love snow. It's gorgeous. Don't like driving in it, but I'll observe from the far. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And so yeah, there's that whip. Honestly, not in the mood to knit another one at the moment. So yeah, we'll talk about this when it's a finished object, honestly. Next one, another mohair project, but this was yarn I got for my birthday. And I went to the yarn shop, and the yarn shop I go to, there's like 3 of them in my area, which is like jackpot. Like they're all spread out, but they're within a good decent driving distance. And so the yarn store I went to, they have a discount like basement. It's Great Yarns in Everett, Washington. And so they have an annex, which is the basement, because it's like a house that they renovated to become a store. I love going in there. And so these were discounted. Everything in the basement is 40% off, final sale. I found this gorgeous silk hair. It's like sherbet in yarn. And then another Borrego vintage yarn in this pale pink, not pale, but more of a like purple pink yarn. And I'm making a Musselburgh on 5mm needles. I'm in the point of where I'm just, ooh, yarn came off the hinges. I'm just in a point where I'm just knitting straight. I think I was working on this last night when I didn't want to work on anything else, and just did, I've been into watching the Great British Bake Off or Great British Baking Show. It's a British baking show, with Paul, Hollywood, and Prue. And it's on Netflix, and I'm on season 6 or collection 6 now. But yeah, I was sitting there and I'm just knitting away. Anyways, what I am loving this combination so far, because you can see the main purple pink yarn, and then you get the like pops of the hot pink in it. I'm not a pink girl. I'm a person who like despises pink and glitter and sparkles. And it's just, I don't know, this pink was calling to me. Just anything. And there was like a hot pink Borrego vintage yarn there, but I was like, no. I hate pink. Why would I wear a very hot pink hat or whatever? So yeah, that'll be another finished I don't know. I can't promise any finished objects for next podcast, honestly. Speaking of another Musselburgh, I got a fingering weight Musselburgh. This yarn is from Hobby Lobby. It's one of their like it's 100% superwash merino. Anyone who shops at Hobby Lobby knows what yarn this is, or like what I'm talking about. So it's beige. It's what I was wanting to make a sweater out of this and hold it with a mohair. And so it was going to be this beige yarn with this. I was just wanting like a stockinette, very colorful yarn. And so it's beautiful. You need to pop a color in your life, right? And so these are on 3.75 millimeters. I am so close to being done. Like, here's my tube. So close. If I were to measure this, I bet you I'd probably have like a couple inches to go. Okay, so I have a tiny little sock whip here. I'm going from like my smaller items to like my bigger items. So this is Patent Sock. I got this at Joann's months ago before we even knew they were closing. And so I got this purple yarn. Other than yellow and sunflowers, this like lavender purple is my second favorite color. So yeah, purple yarn. Self-drafted. I think this is 60 stitches, and it's literally, I just started. Can because I was just, again, bored. And it's just a simple 2x2 rib so far. And that's what the whole sock is going to be. I'm kind of thinking of doing like 2x2, of course, on the cuff. I've been kind of getting back, or not back into, but I've kind of been enjoying the heel flap and gusset for socks. There was a pair of socks that I made, like my first pair of socks, the Marl Melange socks by High Fiber Knits, where you do a short row heel, you do a short row heel and you do it in the 2x2 pattern. I highly it's a nice sock. I try to use it. I might actually use it, maybe, I don't know, but I want a flat bottom and then ribbing on the top, so I'll just probably do a heel flap and gusset and figure that out. So yeah, there's that. I do have another sock pattern that I've been working on, and it's in this cute little mushroom bag from Hobby Lobby again. Like I just mentioned, I love sunflowers, and so I'm working the, 1 minute. Okay, I am working these Sunflower Rises socks by Stone Knits, and I've got Cascade Heritage sock yarn in the colors 5758, which is the beige, 5609, which is the chocolate brown, 5852, which is the golden yellow, and 56112, which is the green color. Yeah, I knit the size 2, and I got one sock finished. It's, of course, color work, and so this is my finished one sock. Here we go. Here's the color. Not blocked. Literally finished the toe last night because I knew I was gonna be filming today. The pattern recommends that you get a 5th yarn, a like light green color, and I didn't want that because I'm like, these are gigantic. They're like 100 grams each. So this is my brown, and you know, barely use the green just for the stem. So this is how much green I have left. And so I can make like, I don't even know, like 4 socks. Well, of course there's one, maybe like 2 pairs of socks, maybe. The beige is probably, here's my beige. It's a little more squishy than all of the rest. Like my yellow, barely used, just used it for this. And so I was like, oh, you know what, need to figure out, like I'm not gonna get a 5th ball just for contrast when I'm gonna have so much yarn left over. And so we did brown, and in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna do brown because it kind of looks like they're sprouting from the dirt. If that makes sense. Yeah, pretty nice. The float situation in here, not too bad. She recommends that you pick up after 9 stitches. I haven't woven in the ends. I only wove in a couple on the feet, and then I was tired and wanted to go to bed. And so the float situation isn't that bad. Oh, you saw ends. So yeah, not terribly bad. There are a couple where I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll catch. Like for the leaves here, I didn't catch a single float unless I was like turning, because I went up from 2.25, I did the sock on 2.25 millimeter needles, and then I did the color work on 2.5 millimeter needles. And I like the shorty method for doing socks. I just like working in the round better. And so cuff 2.25, and body of foot 2.25, and the majority of the toe 2.25. The tiniest little bit where my shorty started to not work, I did like 2 millimeter needles because I have those, and longer ones where I could do magic loop. The heel I did in 2.25 because again, you're having to go back and forth, and the shorties, they don't work going back and forth. And then color work was 2.25. Ooh, this is actually a very good section where you can see where I picked up or like floated the yarns really for when I went over. But yeah, Cascade Heritage, it's really nice. It's super soft. It's mainly two-stranded color work up until you get to the leaf portion, which of course is the first one. And this is like my first color work sock one. And then you're holding 3 strands together. So you're doing yellow, white, and brown. And then you get back to just the white and green. And then I was gonna omit these tiny little green, like just 1 single stitches in between, but you kind of need that because you're floating like how many stitches? I think 11 or 12 stitches maybe. So I was like, okay, that's a lot. So I'll just do the stitches, whatever. And I think it's really cute. It just adds a little bit more character to it. But yeah, I casted this on my birthday, the 23rd, and I finished it last night, which was the 3rd. So 10 days, a week, something. It was a number of days. So yeah, those are my Sunflower Rises socks. Okay, my next whip, more of a minimal whip, self-drafted baby blanket. Ta-da! I'm not pregnant. Don't insinuate that. This is a gift for one of my boyfriend's coworkers who are having a baby boy in a couple of months. I got this yarn at Hobby Lobby. It is the Baby Bee Sweet Delight Sapphire, or is that the color? Yeah, okay, that's the color. Sweet, or Baby Bee Sweet Delight. Here, it's 100% acrylic, 40 or 60% acrylic, 40% polyamide. Okay. So I have these on stoppers, little needle stoppers right now because I'm knitting this with 4mm needles. And I'm using that for another project, which I will show in a little bit. But yeah, you see the colors here. It's a gray, bright baby blue, this white speckled one, and then this. I thought it was navy in the store, but it's more of a blue-green, which honestly, it isn't that bad when it's up against the rest of these colors. And so I think I casted 120. Sounds like a good number. And I'm just knitting 4 blocks of the stripes. So we did gray, navy blue, white, bright blue. And so this one block here, there's another block, and I'm starting the 3rd block. So I want to make it to 4 blocks, and I think that'll be a nice, very small newborn baby blanket. So yeah, still working on that. I do need to start working on it a little bit more because baby, I think, is due in April, maybe. Oh crap, it's March. I'm gonna get working on this. Okay, so speaking of another baby blanket, this is kind of like an acquisition type of thing. So I got, since I was loving the 4-stripe moment, I got Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, and I got it in the color Hazel, Dark Moose, Mushroom Rose, and then this is the Marzipan color, which I kind of broke into. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so my thinking of the color palette was gonna be stripes, ooh, that's just blue fuzz. Stripes in this way. So light, dark, basically, is what the color palette is gonna look like. I'm loving this because it's a neutral palette, so I can give it to honestly anyone who's gonna have a baby. Like my friend that's getting married, who knows when her and her husband are gonna have a baby. And so I need to be prepared. And so we got this. Oh, I have another whip, Emma's Knappebody. But I haven't touched it in a while. It's on hold too. So that's also gonna be for a future baby of theirs. But it's in a like taupe brown color, the Kobu brand, the cotton and bamboo. Oh, it's lovely to work with actually. But I'm knitting, so the Knappebody with that one is, now I'm in the point where I'm knitting one side and then purling the other, because there's like button enclosures on the side for it. I'll put a photo of what the finished object is supposed to look like. But yeah, I didn't want to purl back and forth, and I think I also had to use the needles. I think I'm doing like 3.5mm needles for those, or 3. No, 3 was the ribbing. 3.5mm or 3.25. 3.5. We're gonna go with 3.5. But yeah, I'm not casting this on any point soon. I just got the yarn because I got knitting for Olive for another project, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm making an order. I'll just get this for whenever I want to make it. Because I'll probably cast this on as soon as I cast off the blue baby blanket. Yeah, we'll do that. Speaking of knitting for Olive, so I am making the Monday sweater by Petite Knit in their new colorway, Claret. So let's get this where it kind of looks like a yoke. Okay, so it literally looks like nothing at the moment, but I'm at the yoke. So double knitting collar, starting the yoke, plain stockinette, circular raglan. Everybody knows Petite Knit. Everybody knows the Monday sweater. At this point, I can make 7 jillion more of these already because I'm showcasing a yarn. Oh, the reason why they're on 4mm needles, by the way, and I'm holding it double, actually. So, because, you know, it's in merino, knitting for Olive merino, Claret. It's a light fingering weight yarn. And I'm like, they don't have it in the heavy merino, but I still want, you know, the Monday sweater. And so we're holding a double. And so here's one that's not used. It's a beautiful like wine burgundy. Let's do this whip. This is a long one, you guys. So I hopped on the train. I'm making the Porcelain sweater by The Knit, and I'm doing it in the Luxe Merino colors as well that was in this sweater by Loops and Threads. Here, I'll just take that away. Here, this is Luxe Merino wool blend here, and so I'm doing it in the color Stormy, and then I think this is called Raindrops. So these are my two colors. The Stormy is my main color, and the light lavender purple is the contrast color. I am on the body portion now. I am using 4mm needles for the color work and 3.75 for the body, just because 4mm was way too open of a gauge for my liking for a sweater. So this is where I'm at right now. So construction, everyone knows. You start off with knitting a back piece, or how? Yeah, you start off knitting a back piece because this is a cast on edge for the back, and then you're knitting back and forth. You knit the back panel here, and then you knit the however many rows it is for the arm, and then you come back, pick up for the arms, and it's the same construction as Caidree's, well, not same construction, but like shoulder construction as the home sweater v-neck, because you can kind of see, oh, yarn is touching my leg. I'm not used to how many spiders there are up here in Washington, so I thought there was a spider on my leg. Squirrel. So you did German short rows here, and you can kind of see my bumps. Again, I don't know if it's my German short row turning, because on this side you can hardly see it. You actually can't see it unless you're a trained eye, which all of us, whoever's watching this, is a trained eye at this point. So yeah, it's probably just the way I'm doing it, like German short rows on the knit side or German short rows on the purl side. Anyway, so you increase for the neck, and then you do your panel of the first color work chart, some type of rows, I don't even know, and then you join in the round. You do a couple more rows to join, and then you start your color work. So I just finished, how do I even show this? I just finished the leaf portion. Ooh, that might be better. Just finished the leaf portion. and it's looking very good. So yeah, 4mm needles for the color work, 3.75 for the body. Since it's becoming spring, I'm not really too eager to get this finished just now. This will probably be like when I finish over the summer so that I have it ready for the winter. So I'll save my, okay, these last two are my current favorites for my whips. So this first one, I casted this on last night and worked a couple hours because I was off. But it is the Pocele cardigan. I think I'm saying that correctly, by Augrey Borrego. Borrego. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. It's a main, and all of her patterns are free now because she has stopped designing. And so I'm very excited to be using her pattern because this is a gorgeous cardigan. I would have bought it if she was still designing. But yeah, all of her patterns are free now. So it's a stockinette cardigan with the sleeves being lace work. And so you start of course at the yoke, and then you got like you start this lace right as you start. And so you got the detail like right on your shoulder here, and then going into the sleeve. So at that discount part, or in the discount basement, I saw this fire truck red Shetland wool that was discounted. For the life of me, I could not part with this. I'm like, ugh, I don't even like red or like super bright colors. I mean, I don't mind red, but I don't like super bright colors. I don't like drawing attention to myself. So this, like, but I don't know why, I just could not part with this red stuff. So I bought all the skeins. There were 12 of them. These are 50 grams, 220 meters of 100% Shetland, 100% wool. Old. It is by Karen No Design, the yarn, and it was like $7.20 a piece. Very good deal. So yeah, I got 12 of these. I started knitting, I first wanted just a plain stockinette sweater. I was like, oh, I already have the champagne cardigan pattern. Let me just try to adjust the gauge. That didn't work. I was like, ugh, I should have just done the April cardigan and just buy that. Like, bite the bullet and buy that. But I was like, why would I, like, Petite Knit is a very good designer, I will say. But I'm like, it's $8 for a smaller gauge stockinette cardigan pattern that I already have the bigger gauge for. And I didn't want to hold this double. I just wanted it single because it's a cardigan and I want it for spring and I don't want it to be too thick. So that was my whole logic behind that. I'm just flailing this around, like pointing. So yeah, I started the Pocele cardigan with that, but then I was like, this is just way too rough. Like, I know Shetland wool is rough. That's why I was just like, why am I drawn to this? Like, kept rubbing it against my neck, and I'm like, I will hate whatever I wear with this. I can't wear a sweater, and so a cardigan is my next best thing. And so I'm like rubbing it on my wrist to try and like emulate of what my cuff would be, because I don't want like a too big cuff, like again, like what this sweater is, but I don't want one that's way too tight, but it's still gonna have to be fitting. So I kept rubbing it on my wrist. I'm like, yeah, I hate the feeling of this. This is just not nice. And I had 12 of these skeins, so I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to make with these? But yeah, so I ripped back the cardigan. I went to a yarn store up in Mount Vernon called Wild Fibers. Lovely store, one of my favorites. And they do have knitting for olive in store. They have merino and the soft silk mohair. And so I got soft silk mohair in red currant. The color match, this one is a bit more warmer red and this is a bit cooler red. And you can definitely see, I get the hype. I do get the hype now for the soft silk mohair because it is super soft, super soft. However, I can see the silk core like being white. It's white. This is a good one, maybe, if you can see that, if this even comes up, honestly. And so this is my Pocele cardigan so far. It's on 3.5mm needles. So, and it's, I think 3.5 is actually the recommended needle size, or it's 3.25 or 3. I don't know. But this is the design so far on the shoulder. Here, I'll even open it up so you see the lace. And on the stockinette portion, you can definitely see like where the silk mohair is like coming about, or it becomes the dominant color. Cause I do like in my right hand, and then I flick, like drop, flick. And I just hold them together, of course. And so if my dominant color is or dominant strand is the silk mohair, you're gonna see it. And with that silk like core, I can definitely see the mohair in this, so it has like a tiny bit of a marl in the stitch. But the color and the fuzz makes it a perfect match. And so I just want, it's very nice. Like I know there's wool in this. Like if you put this against you, there's definitely wool. But the soft silk mohair is definitely combating that, which is nice. I paid I'm like, you know what? I want to like this. I don't want to hate this, because I don't want to do a fingering weight cardigan on something I'm going to hate. So, bite the bullet, bought Knitting for Olive. And now I see the hype. I was wanting to buy like a single ball of Knitting for Olive anyways, and make like a Musselburgh or just some type of hat or gloves or just something to just try it out. But I'm actually really liking that this was it, because it was the perfect red for this too. Okay, on to my last whip. So it's the Dagmar jacket by Petite Knit, and I'm doing this with the Dagmar cowl held by Morgan Unraveled and Knitting with Eve on Instagram and on YouTube. And I am loving this so far. I will tell you, I started this February 8th, and oh, I'm in the middle of a row. I have primarily been working on this at work. So this is why we're in the middle of a row. And on the wrong side, oh my gosh. Just flip it inside out. And so this is held double. BC Garn Bio Shetland. See, I was in a Shetland mood. That's why I bought the red too. It's 100% pure organic wool in the color 01, and I got this on Lind Hobby, so it was like the sheep white color. I didn't want a white and I didn't want a beige. I wanted a warm neutral, because up against me, I'm like, white is way too much, beige is matching my skin tone. This probably is even matching my skin tone at the moment. But I wanted a warm neutral. And so this is my progress so far. I've joined in for the body. I'm gonna knit the body up until I run out of this yarn, and then I'll start the sleeves, because I have this feeling I want pockets with this. And so I have 9 skeins of this. So it comes, actually it's 50 gram balls for 280 meters. When I tell you, this runs so far for the Dagmar actually. I got the entire, with my first 2 balls, I got, because I'm holding a double, I got the entire back panel done. An entire front, actually like 98% of the first panel done, and then I had to get more yarn, or like wind up more yarn. I have the yarn. And these are my second 2 balls. I finished the right panel, worked the entirety of the left panel, and now I'm on the body. Like I'm hopefully gonna have extra of where I can make a pocket, because I'm like, this is a jacket where I'm gonna put it over stuff, and I'm gonna hopefully have a button because it's gonna be cold, so I might want a pocket if I'm wearing it with leggings and I don't want to like shove it in my pants basically. Shove my phone in my pants, so I want a pocket for it. or if I don't have jeans, you know, have a pocket. And I don't want it inside because I don't want to have to unbutton to get inside. And so I'm not adjusting the pattern design at all. I'm just gonna knit it the way I'm gonna knit it. And then I'm gonna like probably do the diamond motif like over it, or do, you know, I don't know how I'm gonna do a pocket if I want to do a pocket. So we got that so far. And this Shetland wool actually like isn't that bad. It's surprisingly soft. Softer like for my liking. So, and this color, I'm obsessed. I just taken a pause on it at the moment just because of everything else I got going on. And the honeycombs are probably like my most annoying thing right now. There was a detail on the back. So you knit the back panel and you have to remember where you end. Knit the front panel, remember where you end. On the back, so I'm doing moss stitch. Like she says, Petite says to do moss stitch, but I think it might be like the European moss stitch maybe, because on the chart, it's like, it looks like a seed stitch. So, but I'm like, I don't want to do a seed stitch, I'll just do the moss stitch. And so we did that. But on the front panel, I'm starting my moss stitch on the wrong side. And on the back panel, I started my moss stitch on the right side, like where you go to a new one. I will say I like the wrong side start better, but that then caused where I had to, like I was gonna have to start on a new moss stitch row when I joined in for the round, but with the panels, I was gonna have to continue what I had. And so that even happened like for the cabling here too, where I ended with a cable and I had to do 2 extra rows. Or I actually, when I figured that out, I'm like, oh, let me just make 2 extra rows and kind of combat it that way. And just, you know, redo it that way. And so there's like 2 extra rows here. You can see with the moss stitch clearly, like where I had it here. But then with the diamond, unless I'm telling you where it is, because it's right here, you can't really tell, like unless you're looking for it. So I'm so happy about that. Also, side note, these are my stitch stoppers. They're adorable. So we got that going. And this is only like a month's work at work. Because there was a point at my job where we didn't really have much to do on nights. Like I would get like, you know, my first stuff done with my patients, and then they would all sleep and they wouldn't really need much assistance. And if they did, it was, I need water or something. So yeah, there's my Dagmar jacket. Okay, on to some acquisitions, or kind of like just future plans, because this is a lot of yarn and I know I need to dwindle it down. Like I need to finish a couple projects before I can start any new projects. So I'm in my head, I'm like, I need to finish my Dagmar and my baby blanket before I can cast on anything else. And even though I did cast on my Porcelain cardigan yesterday. And it's a fingering weight project. It's gonna take me like a year to get done. So that's my argument. So I want to finish like my Dagmar jacket and my baby blanket before I can cast on anything else, like another sweater, and or finish my porcelain sweater. So I want to like dwindle down my whips before I can start another sweater garment project. So first, the reason why that the marzipan knitting for Olive was, you know, looks like it's used is because it is. For a swatch. For the Meredith Grey pullover by Sari Nordlund. When I tell you that is an intricate design, it is. It is. It's beautiful, but it's very intricate and very like, you need to know what you're doing, heavy. So first, I made a swatch out of this yarn, Cascade Heritage, in this. It's like a mauve color. I actually can't even remember what the color is. I don't know where the thing went for this, but it's this beautiful mauve purple color. Again, I was in my purple era with this, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna hold it double. You know, it's nice, it's soft, it's whatever. I made this on the recommended needle size. I think it's 3.75 she recommends. And this was the gauge swatch I made. I will recommend that if anyone is making the Meredith Grey pullover, for your gauge swatch, you make the sleeve chart. That's all I'm gonna say on that. And so because also you wanna get how you're gonna do this first, because it looks like it's a raglan, and it is, but it's not. Like, that sounded aggressive. So I started this with the purple, because I'm like, okay, it's an intricate design. I'm gonna want to, you know, it's gonna take me a minute to finish. So I wanna start it. And so it's back and forth first. Like, you have raglan stitches, but you're working back and forth. It's not connected. Which is weird. Like, maybe you'll connect it like in the round, probably, or later. I haven't looked farther into it. Anyways, highly recommend doing your gauge swatch as the sleeve chart, just so you get the lace work down, because I'm having problems with like the decreases, because you're decreasing and yarning over on both sides, like wrong side and right side. So you're like slipping two together on slipping together, slip knit on right side, and slip purl on the wrong side, and then knit two together on a right side, and then purl two together on the wrong side. I don't know if it's how I'm purling or how I'm slipping or whatever, but it's not doing like a leaning that it's supposed to do on this purple one. It like crosses over the stitches. And so you can see the design, like when I stretch it out, kind of. But if you can see, there's like lines of where my decreases are, of where like they're very much wrong. And so even on, like I was having to do like purl through like the front back loops. It was crazy to try and get it to be correct. And so I ripped it all back, and I started another one. Oh, even this has it until like a point. Okay. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to see if the heavy merino is like good for the gauge. Same needle, 4mm needle. Oh, this one was on a tighter one, and I went up to a 4mm needle just to get an opener, more open gauge, and get gauge. So I'm like, you know what? Marzipan. I want to do it in Pearl Gray from Knitting for Olive. So marzipan of what I have is going to give me the best representation of what the stitch is going to look like. So I did a tinier little swatch, and I love this. As soon as I started knitting with it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to spend the money again to get this because of how beautiful it is. Here. It's nice, you see the stitches, it has the definition, and it's way more comfortable to work the lace work because it's only one strand and I'm not holding crap double. You can still see, like I got to a point on where I got better with my decreases. And so like right here on the bottom is where I started getting better, but I still had the same problem on the beginning of it. So I don't know, it's just I kind of want to like message Sorry to kind of be like, can you give a tutorial just on this part? Like, you don't even have to give us stitch counts, you just have to tell us how to do the decreases, because I want this pullover. I'm not a person that brings attention to myself, but making this, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a statement piece. Especially in the gray, I can wear it to whatever occasion I want. but I just need help on the decreases. So now I have 5 skeins of this purple yarn where I'm not using it for the project I intended on using it for. So I'm thinking of making the lace loop sweater by Other Loops, or the Weekend Glow sweater. I can't remember who it's by. Again, I'll put it in here. Holding a double, because they're both on like 4mm needles or less. And I'm like, I just need a more simple sweater because I like the purple. So yeah, we'll see what I want to make with this. It'll definitely be like, these are the projects of where I have to wait until I have more like done and finished objects before I can do anything else cast on. Okay, last whip is, or not whip, heck no. Last acquisition / plan. So I have this beautiful Juniper Moon Farms Hero Fine in the color gold, or it's colored 2055. It's in this beautiful color, and I'm a yellow person, hence my socks. And I wanted to make the book club cardigan by Sara Nordlund. I have the pattern. I even started it, but then I'm like, I think I got done with the back panel, and I'm like, wait, why aren't the diamonds lining up on the shoulder? For some reason that irked the crap out of me. And so on Instagram, there's a knitter who supercalifragilistic, I'll put her handle on the screen, where she did a modification where on the shoulder there's a cable where it breaks it up, and then she somehow makes a match, the diamonds match, like line up. And if you reach out to her, she'll just send, she'll DM you, if you say you're making the cardigan, she'll DM you what her, a chart for the back modifications. And I tried that, and then it got, I got through the back panel, and then it got confusing from where to start after that. So then I took an entire night, went through my chart of the pattern, and started annotating it of how to make the back work, so that I can just follow the book club pattern. And so I then swatched. I'm like, you know what? I hate this. This isn't working. This is way too much thought for a super intricate pattern, and I just want to have a cabled sweater that's yellow and soft. This is also 100 or 75% alpaca, 25% polyamide, so this is soft, especially double. It's soft. And no matter what I want to do with this, I have to hold it double because it's a light fingering weight. And so I wanted to make the Weekend Glow sweater out of it because I'm like, come on, just a yellow sweater. And so I did a gauge swatch. It's a broken rib pattern, all over rib, but broken rib. There's fiber everywhere. And so I started with 4mm, and then I went on to 3.5mm. Because I don't know, the 4mm just wasn't looking correct when I was knitting it, and then 3.5 gave me a little bit of a tighter gauge. So yeah, bottom is 4, 3.5 is on top. So you can kind of maybe see 4.5 or 3.5 is just a little bit neater, and 4 is a bit more loosey-goosey. It still looks nice. They both look nice. But I still want to make the book club cardigan one day. And I'm just so dead set and stubborn. I'm going to make it in the yellow yarn. There will be another day for that, because I don't have the patience right now to try and figure out if I want to do the back modifications or if I just, say screw it and just do the normal pattern. So, yeah. So, that's all I have. This is probably like an hour and a half long. I wouldn't be surprised. But if you stayed this long, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Podcasts might be coming just like once a month, just a little update on my whips because I'm not a fast knitter. There probably won't be many finished objects. But yeah, I will see you guys next time, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful month.